Hey everybody, welcome to this Facebook Live. I have a special guest with me today, Nick Foster of CF Commercial Industries. And I just wanted to take a few minutes here. Chris, CF. Nick was a participant in one of our recent Less Doing Replaceable Founder intensives here in New York and had a really great experience. And it's really changed a lot of the way that he does his business. So I wanted to have him on and talk to him about that for a few minutes. And that's that. So, Nick, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Good to hear from you again.
So tell us what CF Commercial Industries is and does, and how you created it.
So through a series of trial and error and trying to find a niche in the cleaning industry, we started out with residential, found out there was just no money to be had there. Then we started getting into commercial work, so cleaning up for new constructed homes of Ryan Homes and K. Avanian Homes, some larger mass development homes. Still was no money there. So as we were starting to get a little bit hopeless and desperate, we started looking for commercial and industrial work. So building of hotels or assisted living facilities or skyscrapers, things like that. And we started kind of striking gold with those projects. So we focused primarily on final cleaning before their turnover. So if they have health inspections or things like that, just to get the project looking good before they turn it over to their client. That way they don't have to delay their opening.
And did you have experience in that before?
No, I actually, just to kind of pay through school, I actually had a gourmet popcorn business, random enough. We just catered bridal showers and weddings and graduation parties and things like that. I just did it right out of my garage. So that was kind of my, the business I had before this, but I obviously didn't see a lot of potential with that. So I stopped doing that and got into this with a buddy of mine. We actually dropped out of school in our third year of college to start this.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. And so but why cleaning? What got you to that?
So I actually was really enticed by the idea of having contracts. So initially we thought we'd go into places like the Cleveland Clinic or University Hospital, some large hospital facilities and things like that. And we'd just say, hey, we can staff, a 5-man crew for a night and have a nice contract that we can, rely on, and we know exactly what's going to be coming every month. And that certainly is a portion of the business, but it turns out the construction side of things, with just the way the economy is going or whatever the case may be, we kind of found our niche in the construction cleaning more so than janitorial work. So it was really just kind of not knowing enough about the industry to ask a lot of questions, I think is what it really was. We just kind of saw some opportunity and we just kind of ignored the potential risks, and we just kind of went along with that passion together.
That's great. That's really great. So what did business look like before you came to the intensive?
It was not very fun, to say the least. So it was my partner and I going in this really creepy looking work van that we got for like $500 from our landlord of our shop. And we were just driving around within 2-3 hours of the greater Cleveland area, just doing these random jobs for very little money. And as we got busier and busier, working 3-4 days nonstop, driving from job to job, we were going through these ups and downs like, oh, we're busy, we're making it. And then we're realizing like, well, we're not making any money. So how is this doing us any good? So we kind of had to come to that realization of probably after the first, I'd say a good solid 8 months or so, of just realizing busy work doesn't mean you're actually making money. It's almost like a comfort zone you fall into to say that you're in this nonstop work trap. Then when you step back and realize, hey, we're not seeing any profit from this, it kind of coaxes you into the way of saying, how do we scale this? How do we find, where the real money is at?
And so what brought you to the Replaceable Founder Intensive? Like, what were you hoping to get out of it when you came?
So I actually got really lucky. I saw you speak at a Garage Kings University segment in January in the Florida. I think it was Fort Lauderdale or something in January. And then I heard your speech, and I heard you talk about your optimize, automate, and outsource. And it just made total sense to me. And my biggest question when I was hearing you speak in January was, how do I know like when that step is right for me? So I kind of ran through a crowd of people and introduced myself and kind of gave you a little spiel of my business. And then I heard from my dad, actually, because you had conversations with my dad as well that weekend, that you had a seminar, an intensive in Brooklyn, I think like a few weeks later. So I looked into the website, I checked it out, and I booked it right away because I was like, hey, this guy has a real idea. I mean, Garage Kings is a very similar business to ours. It's a truck and trailer business with a crew leader and then, crew members that go out and take care of a job. So I said, if he's speaking to these people and they're really getting something out of it, maybe our business can get something out of it as well.
And so what was one of the biggest takeaways, or one or two of the biggest takeaways that you got from the intensive?
I'd say probably the biggest and the most relieving was when you said you should be shedding off anywhere between 60 to 70% of the work you were doing the previous year. That was like a weight off my shoulders, because that took away the timetable question that I had. I was always wondering, how do I know when the right time to start growing and scaling and delegating is. And that answered the question. Every year you should be shedding off 60 to 70% of that fat to a different position or outsourcing it outside of your company. And when I heard that, I was like, this is the only way that we can leverage our time. I focus more on business development now, and my partner deals more with the head of field operations. So it's like a perfect mix between our two personalities. And we certainly wouldn't have realized that in a timely manner if we didn't hear that message in particular.
Now, what's something that almost stopped you from joining the intensive?
What stopped me was the timetable question. I just always felt like, oh, you're supposed to grind for 5 years before you break through and you can enjoy your life again. That was my biggest concern. I've heard that so much through different books I read, was there's going to be 5 to 7 years where you're going to hate your life. You're going to wake up and wish you never started it. And we were just finishing up year 1. So I was like, oh man, I got a lot more misery to go yet before I can start enjoying my business. But then I just realized I was talking with my dad and I was reading up more about this program. And I was just like, that's just a silly way to look at it. There's no sense in wasting our time we can be leveraging to scale now. If we're not making money now, what do I have to lose? It was a lot of revenue, but in terms of profit, it was just really, really hard to leverage our time. We were just breaking into commercial work and we found out that's where we should be. And there's only so much soliciting we can do if both my partner and I are actually doing the field work ourselves. So we kind of realized it's just silly. We're going to be running in circles if we keep going at the same pace we're going.
Yeah. Now, so what does the business look like now?
10x growth from last year revenue wise. So we broke past that $1 million mark. So it was all thanks to that, honestly, because I sat my partner down with myself and we just said, look, there's no way we can do this continuously. We're going to develop health issues. We're going to have all sorts of problems from working these long, intensive weeks and stuff. So now we have more flexibility and we have our schedules down. And now I can actually be excited to, like, I just created about a week ago our 2020 business plan. And now I can say that with confidence that we're actually going to have the time to be able to implement these things. Whereas before, it was just a big circus. We had no idea where we were going to be 8 hours from now, let alone, the next year. So it really helped us be able to step back and, have the workers going. We have, over 30 workers now that are actually doing the field work. And it allows us to step back and focus on big picture, him implementing things for the on-site, and then me focusing on developing the business with different softwares and different systems to kind of streamline what we're doing.
That's great. So then what's the biggest challenge right now?
Biggest challenge right now is honestly trying to find enough workers that want to work at that level. We're trying to show them the vision of saying, hey, if you stick on with us, we really promote from within, and we, the guys that stick around to get treated really well. But I think right now there's so much opportunity and so few people that really want to work that's been our biggest struggle right now, is finding enough people who are wanting to work and can see that bigger vision. So I'd say the next step is just going to have to be stronger leadership to be able to encourage these people and be able to show them the right path and how they can actually make, a serious living for themselves doing this, working with us and joining our vision.
Well, I'm very happy for you, and congratulations on your growth. It's really incredible, and
I appreciate it. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So what I want to do is let everybody know that we've actually got what we're calling a time training session coming up this Thursday at noon, and you can register at that link below. And anybody that shows up live and stays through the end is going to actually get access to our Black Friday discount for our Replaceable Founder course, which is a more extended version of the one-day intensive that Nicholas was able to attend. So check it out at the link below. Nick, I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story. It's a great one. And I hope you keep growing the way you have been.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you again for the next lesson.